Yeah. Testing, testing. Check, check. We're alive. It's Q and Assault Saturday. Let me throw the link into the Discord. Who in here? Who out here? How we doing? Where's the comments at? There we go. Girl. AK, you're fucking firing the questions like you got a goddamn AK. Holy sheesh. You don't even want to say hello this morning? You just want to ask me about Taysom fucking Hill? Taysom Hill or TJ Hawkinson? I need my mouse. JMO, can you do me a favor? Yes. Thank you. I am going to start TJ Hawkinson for sure. There's no way I'm sitting his ass right now. I actually think his over at 53 receiving yards is a beautiful prop. I don't care that Nick Mullins is actually like a decently serviceable backup, and the Cincinnati defense is one you can absolutely fuck with. So I'm going to go Hawkinstein there for show. Starting Bijan, whoever, my RB2 is either McKinnon or Algier, half PPR. Well, the one thing I wouldn't do is double down on Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know we've got a nice little matchup it might be in my office. Really? I wouldn't double down on the Atlanta Falcons. I would probably pivot to McKinnon with Pacheco obviously out again. I like him better than Algier because Bijan's probably going to get 20-plus touches. I know Algier might grab some scraps there, but I am still of the mindset that McKinnon's a nice little play. Atlanta or Jets defense this week. We have Atlanta playing against the Panthers, 3-point favorites. I don't like this matchup for Atlanta. I know it should be good. It should be good for Bijan and probably nobody else. The Panthers pass D is actually sneaky, low key, a little bit all right. Thank you, sir. You the man. Sneaky, low key. Okay. There we go. We're Bluetoothed in, baby. And the Jets are playing. Who the fuck are the Jets playing? Why can't I think of this right now? I actually think the Jets have a sneaky chance of winning this fucking game. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry. Jets play the Dolphins. They are 8.5-point dogs. If Tyreek Hill is out, I imagine that number moves a little bit. I still don't think I like the Jets over the Dolphins, though. I'll take Atlanta just because the Carolina offense is so bad. AK Trey McBride or Dalton Kincaid, half PPR. Thanks for everything. It's McBride for me for sure. I love McBride. I think they're equally talented players, Kincaid and McBride, but I like the upside of a team that's probably going to be trailing most of the game. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot, and it is all McBride and Kyler together. Hang. This makes me feel more at home. Good morning, Kelsey. How are you? I know I came in guns blazing. Yeah, you did. How was you this morning? I feel phenomenal. I couldn't for some reason, the camera wouldn't sync up to my laptop, so I had to set up my iPhone, which is why this shit is crooked. I'm actually going to fix it. Give me a second. Everybody settle down. Settle down. Let me take a drink of water. Is that better? I feel like I didn't do a single thing there. Fuck it, we ball. Tony, baby, full PPR. Chris Godwin or Keaton Mitchell. BDGE Dynasty League 50 matchups getting spicy. We love to hear it. Okay, so Godwin and Tampa take on the Packers. I low-key love this matchup for Mike Evans. Godwin's just shown me nothing. I know Keaton and the Ravens have been a little bit up and down with his usage. I still think I go back to Keaton Mitchell here, though. Jaguars defense has not been anywhere near what they were in the beginning of the year, especially not against the run. So I'm gonna push you towards Keaton there. Full PPR, Zeke or Ridley. Ooh, I'm actually gonna go Zeke, man. The volume is just too high. He's too involved in the passing game. I think even if they get their asses kicked by Kansas City, Zeke's probably due for like 5 or 6 targets, where I don't even know if I feel confident enough to say that Ridley is due for that. And the Ravens' pass D is obviously super tough. So I'm going to go Zeke there. First time, big dog, for crunch time. You're. I don't even know what you're talking about, but flex half PPR. We got Ty Chandler, we've got Odell, we've got Keaton Mitchell, or Chase Brown. All right, so Ty Chandler should assume the workhorse role, although I wouldn't be surprised if he lets us down. The Cincinnati run defense is not good. Odell's been pretty fucking hot, and he plays the Jacksonville Jaguars pass D, who have been the opposite of hot. So for me, I'm actually looking between the first two guys, Ty Chandler and Odell. I think ultimately I'd probably lean towards Chandler because Odell, like he's been hot, but he's still low-key playing just like 50 to 55% of the snaps, which is weird. It's weird. Like, why not just have him in as a full-time guy with no Mark Andrews with the way that he's producing? So it's possible this is the one that he kind of like steps up and becomes a 75, 85% route runner. But we kind of know that Ty Chandler is going to be a very, very high floor running back, especially with a backup quarterback like Nick Mullins in. I don't know that they want to like lean on his arm to win this game. So while I do think Kenny Nwangu will probably be more involved than we're giving him credit for at the time, I think I lean Ty Chandler there, especially in half PPR. Jonathan Wayne, what's up, baby? Half PPR, sit one, Ingram, McBride, or James Conner. Woo, okay. I'm not sitting McBride. This feels like a game where T-Law is going to have to attack the middle of the field with the tight end against the Ravens. James Conner, he's been so fucking inefficient. He's not really using the passing game anymore, which is my biggest concern because they play San Fran as huge underdogs. They're going to get down. They're probably going to get wiped. It'll be a blowout by like the third quarter. And James Conner this year, I think he has like 14 catches for 36 yards, if I remember off the top of my fucking head. My brain's huge, so I probably do remember that correctly. He's not been a factor in the passing game whatsoever. So I'm actually going to lean sitting James Conner. Hank. Moss or McBride, full PPR as well. Ah, God. This is one where, like, everything tells you probably should play Moss, but I'm going to tell you to play McBride. Moss has been so bad the last couple of weeks, and the Steelers' run defense is actually not bad. So is there a chance that he ends up, like, rumbling in for 2 touchdowns? But he's been like the Zach Moss we thought Zach Moss was who he was the last couple of weeks. So I don't know. I think eventually, like, they probably have to look at another running back to get a little bit more involved. Like, they can't just keep giving him 3 yards a carry over and over and over and over again, you know? So I'm going to lead McBride, especially in full PPR. Michael, half PPR, we got Aaron Jones or CEH, Superflex, Zappy, or do I risk Josh Downs? Ugh, that's fucking ugly. Aaron Jones, do we have, like, an actual update that he's playing? I'm going to go CEH here. I don't trust Aaron Jones. I don't trust the running backs in Green Bay versus the Tampa Bay run defense, which is really good. This ends up being like a pass funnel defense out there in Tampa Bay. So I'd go CEH because I have no idea what to expect from Jones. I don't know if they're going to use it. Like, remember the last time he came back from a multi-week injury? He only played like 30, 40% of the snaps. That's probably what's going to happen here. CEH is the early down back for KC, and this should dictate a good game script against the Pats, right? They're, 8-9 point favorites. So I'll go slightly in CEH there. And then Superflex, oh, God. Zapier, do I risk Josh Downs? I actually think Josh Downs is probably going to have a good game. If it's half PPR though, I don't think I can get that cute with it. If it's half PPR, I think you have to go with Zappy there. Gibson or DK? Ooh, this is a great one. So DK is playing against the Eagles secondary, which is just donated points to fantasy wide receivers. We don't know what Geno's status is. We have Gibson and the Commanders playing against the Rams, and Brian Robinson's, if not already ruled out, very likely going to be out for this one. He's coming off of a bye and still hasn't practiced at all, so super, super unlikely that he plays. They play at 4 o'clock. So here's what I would do. I think both plays are really good. I think if we don't have news on Geno Smith playing by Sunday afternoon, I would play Gibson. But if there's a really strong lean that Geno's going to play, like in a straight up normal question for this question, like I would for sure be playing DK over Gibson. But if it's going to be Drew Lock, then I would prefer Gibson over DK. So I would lean risk averse, especially in the playoffs here. And Gibson has going to end up having a very high floor just because Brian Robinson is out. So Gibson, unless we have a really, really strong indicator that Geno is going to play. Start one from Mr. Eric, half PPR. We have Clyde, we have Taysom Hill, we have Demario Douglas. So I could already tell you how many points Demario Douglas is going to get you. He's going to go 5 for 55, which is 8 points. So if you feel good about that, run with it. I'd imagine that you don't, though. Clyde and Taysom Hill is an interesting little dichotomy here. I probably go Taysom Hill here, actually. I feel good about like 12 to 15 touches for Clyde, but I don't feel great about it against the Patriots defense in this game script in Foxborough. It's close between Clyde and Taysom Hill here for me. Eric, I'll ask you personally. Do you have a lean on either of those two? I would sit Douglas, and I would decide between the first two guys. Hang. Justin Fields or K1? Fields for me, for show. I think Fields, as good as the Browns' defense has been, I think Fields is actually going to have a good day. Play a lot of cover one. Justin Fields rips cover one. Single high. We're out. Fields for show. Lawrence or Russ? Ooh, okay. So we have Lawrence going against the Ravens at home, coming off a 3-interception game, but also coming off of a 3-touchdown game. I actually would go Russ here. I really like the matchup overall and that game script. I think it's going to be, I think it's a really high over-under. I think it's like 48.5 points. Broncos are getting like 5 points, so they should be trailing. They're going to have to pass a lot. Russ has been good enough for fantasy. He doesn't put up huge yardage numbers, but he scrambles a decent amount, and he scores a lot of touchdowns. He's been really efficient throwing the ball into the end zone. And the Detroit Lions pass D has just absolutely fucking crumbled over the last month or so. So I'm big fan of Russ this week. Let's go Russ over T-Law. If Olave is out, are we trusting Swift? Yes, actually, the matchup against Seattle is really fucking good for Philly. Seattle's run defense is also a tragedy. They are allowing like the most rushing yards, the most fantasy points to opposing offenses, like all of that sheesh. So it is the season of the Swift. Wouldn't start him over Olave if Olave's playing, but don't hate Swift this week. We got Deontay, Clyde, McKinnon, pick one full PPR. Okay, that makes it a little bit interesting. I would not play Foreman just because, again, I just don't trust that running back room. And you have Clyde versus McKinnon. Now, Clyde, here's the thing I'll say with Clyde. Like, again, McKinnon ended up scoring the touchdown last week, but this game script is going to be very different, I think, than the one with the Bills last week when they're just like toe-to-toe the entire time. This one should lean far more towards Clyde's favor. And even in last week's game against the Bills, Clyde outsnapped, he out-targeted, he ran more routes, he had more carries than McKinnon. So all of those numbers dictate to me is Clyde's backfield with McKinnon kind of sprinkled in. And with the game script in favor of KC, I like Clyde a lot more. So I think I'd ultimately lean towards Clyde over Deonta. Singletary or Aaron Jones if he plays full PPR. Oh, God. I just like can't. I don't think in good faith, in good conscious faith, tell anyone to start Aaron Jones in the playoffs this week. If there's a report that, like, I don't know, Aaron Jones is good to go, he's not going to be on a snap count, like it's just fucking blowing his praises, sure, just because Singletary's not an option that I feel like super strongly about, but I think Aaron Jones's floor is so fucking low for this week, so I'm leaning Singletary unless something crazy comes out about Aaron Jones's role. It's ugly as hell. Lost Keenan and Herbert. Hate to see that. Full PPR, flex start one. We have Tony Pollard and the Cowboys against the Bills. We have Calvin Ridley against the Ravens, and we have Zay Flowers against the Jaguars. Full PPR. So I think in a full PPR, I think I'd actually go with Flowers here. The matchup is way better for Flowers than it is for Ridley on the flip side of the ball. The over-under is only 42.5. So it's not like where you might look at this matchup and say, like, oh, I'm expecting kind of like a shootout, a lot of passing. Not really going to be that case, I don't think. And then Cowboys versus Bills. Like, the Bills' defense is not great, but Pollard doesn't really catch a lot of passes. He scores a touchdown every once in a while when there's, like, terrible matchups. But ultimately, I think I'd lean Flowers here, Beard. Hell yeah, thanks. Going with Taysom. Let's do it. 6 point per passing touchdown. We have Browning or Goff. Denver's pass D has been pretty good, but I do think there's going to be a lot of points going up on the board, whereas I think the Bengals game is going to be much more low scoring. I think that game, the Vikings blitz a lot, and I think it's going to cause Browning to kind of get the ball out very, very quickly. I think the over-under is like 40 points, 40 and a half points or something like that in that game. So I would lean Goff there. Half PPR, we have Ty Chandler, Keaton Mitchell. I'd go Chandler there. Feel way more secure about his workload. Charlie, we got Zay Jones, Noah Brown, Chris Godwin, Taysom Hill, T. Higgins, Gibson. Pick 2, standard scoring. So Gibson's for sure going into my lineup here. I don't feel good about T. Higgins. I don't really feel good about anybody else. I would have said Noah Brown, obviously, if C.J. Stroud was playing, but he's not, so I'm not going to go that route. Taysom Hill, I feel okay, but standard scoring, do I really? Man, just absolutely slapping T. Higgins right off this question feels gross, but I'm doing that. I'm taking Higgins out. I'm taking Noah Brown out. Godwin in standard scoring feels fucking useless. That guy never scores. Literally, he's like Demario Douglas, but with a more recognizable brand name, 5 for 50 every week. So he's out. So for me, it starts to shrink down to Gibson, Taysom Hill, and Zay Jones. And I think ultimately I'd probably go Gibson and Taysom Hill. I feel better about Hill scoring a touchdown. I think in like standard scoring, that's the way you have to look at it. Like who has the most touchdown equity, the most touchdown upside when you're trying to relive like tiebreakers. Like Zay Jones last week had 14 fucking targets. T-Law obviously threw the ball like 50 plus times, but he turned it into 5 for 29. And T-Law, I don't know how much touchdown success he's going to have against the Ravens defense. So I'm ultimately going to go Gibson and Taysom Hill in a better matchup. JL, are you subscribed? Are you a Big Dog member? I don't answer questions to people who aren't. Guillotine League, PPR, DK, Michael Pittman, Devontae Smith, or Garrett Wilson. Whoo! Love this. My instinct would be we don't have a read on Geno, do we? Actually, let me take a look real quick. See if we have any update on Geno. Limited Thursday, limited Friday. Damn, we don't have a real read on it, huh? Those are a lot of good options. I would ultimately sit Garrett Wilson for sure. He's going to see a lot of Jalen Ramsey. He's going to see a lot of Miami secondary that's really good. I think DK with Geno is a great fucking start. I think Devontae Smith against the Seattle secondary is a great start, but I trust him a little bit less with Dallas Goedert back in the lineup. Michael Pittman's been a beast, but so is Joey Porter Jr. on the other side of the ball. So I'd like to start DK, but I'd probably give you the same reaction that I gave to the other person with DK between Antonio Gibson and him. Unless we have like really, really sure evidence that Geno Smith is going to play Monday night, I think I'd ultimately probably play Michael Pittman. over DK because I do not. When you have that good of options, I don't want to fucking rest my option on Drew Lock in the playoffs. If Olave's out and I flex play one full PPR, Ridley or Pollard. There I'd probably roll with Pollard. Two of the most disappointing fucking fantasy players this year, but yeah, I'll go Pollard there. For a desperate flex play, Keaton Mitchell or JSN, half PPR. Ooh, I actually sneaky don't hate JSN. He's been like really, really close to a bunch of big opportunities. He's been very involved, but that's another one where because we don't know Gino's status, but this is kind of good because you get to wait until Sunday Night Football. So again, I'll give all y'all the same sentiment. If we have a good feel, which I think by Sunday night when the Ravens play, you'll have a good feel. Like I'd play JSN over Keaton Mitchell, which might be a hot take, but I'd play JSN over Keaton Mitchell. And if we get confirmation that Drew Lock is playing, then I'd throw Keaton Mitchell into our lineup. But by then we'll have practice reports on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I think we'll know whether or not Gino's in the lineup by Sunday Night Football. Hang. Let's get it on and popping. Niner. Desperate super flex start. Flacco or Browning or DeVito. 6 point per passing touchdown. Okay, so I'm not going to start DeVito despite how hot he's been. Browning's been good too. Flacco versus Browning. This really feels like the game that Flacco falls off on. This one's so hard for me to decide. I think I'm going to trust my gut here. My gut is telling me to tell you to play Browning. My gut is telling me that Flacco is going to flop in this game. So do with that what you please. My brain obviously says Flacco, but my gut, my heart, my instincts are telling me Browning. Hang. Oh. All right. Well, the questions have slowed down. You guys are still hanging out. If you are watching this after the fact that we have streamed and you want to be part of this next week, we do this every single Saturday. Hoping we can push you to your chips. Hoping we can help you bring home the hardware. Hoping we can make you some money. This is the Q and Assault stream. The only way to become a part of it is to go to bdge.co, and there you will be able to sign up, become a Big Dog member. We have our weekly rankings through there. We have our weekly waiver wire rankings. We have our Q and Assault. And as soon as the offseason hits, we will launch our Dynasty rankings for y'all, which is pretty cool because we haven't had those. So those will be live as soon as the offseason hits, Dynasty rankings included. But if you want action in the Q and Assault, again, bdge.co. Sign up to be a Big Dog member, and all the links to these streams get posted into the Discord. First game, I think, kicks off at 1 o'clock today, right? We got Vikings-Bengals at 1. We got Steelers-Colts at 4:30. We got 8:15 Broncos-Lions. We got, honestly, not three kind of intriguing matchups at least. Like even the Vikings-Bengals with backup QBs, there's a storyline you could tell yourself that you'll have fun watching this game. Probably won't. It'll probably be terrible, but there's a lot of good matchups. I think I can't name maybe the Giants and the Saints. And even that, like, there's some intrigue to it. But there are, like, very few bad matchups that I'm not intrigued by at all this week. Bears-Browns. I want to see Fields. I want to see Flacco. Bucks-Packers. Jordan Love. Baker. Like, Texans-Titans probably the worst one because Stroud is out. But if Stroud was there, that'd be fun. Jets-Dolphins. Like, there are very few bad games on this week. Falcons-Panthers. Goated. Number 1 on the week. 33.5 point over-under. Can't beat it. All right, well, since the questions have dried out like a nun, we are going to stop the stream here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this beautiful, gorgeous, freezing, miserable Saturday. We'll be back next Saturday, but we'll also be live Monday, obviously, recapping all of the games from the weekend. And Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll be back every day of every week for the rest of your lives. I love you. I'm out.